grace.
Welcome to another edition of Trust the Process Podcast. Yours truly, Rob, the People's Plug Martin, joined by always the Italian Stallion. That's the Reverend over there.
What's up, y'all?
And as always, Mr. Irregular Strength himself, Julius Maddox.
Okay.
It's getting hot in
We
here.
live in the studio.
Keep on all your clothes.
Man.
They got the heat up in here? Or they ain't got the air on? It's like 18th Street over here.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Y'all got done eating those gas station biscuits?
Man.
Man, don't tell them what's in those gas station biscuits.
I was thinking that. I was like, man, you eat gas station food every day.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't eat it every day. Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah, I can't do it.
there's only one 5-star. That's a clean establishment.
Man,
Yeah,
it sure
5-star,
is.
they cook it fresh.
And they got everything.
They make it fresh like Subway right in front of you.
Everybody else, I don't know.
Man, the biscuits and gravy be hitting too. Don't it?
There was one that somebody was like, man, this is the best place to go get breakfast in the morning. And I remember I went there, and the sausage and the bacon just tastes like it wasn't even of whatever animal they like. It wasn't from a pig. It was from a pterodactyl or something.
Yeah, I can't eat gas station food.
Nah.
I mean, unless it's picked
That
up
biscuit
like
was alright though, wasn't it?
half of it.
It was
Half of it was good. Half of it was good.
for
So how's
sure.
y'all's week been going?
Man, busy.
Live
man.
in the
Living
studio,
a dream.
Busy. Great
Man,
week.
It's a beautiful day outside. Man, beautiful.
Softball field last night. I took it back. Had a
Are y'all
few
still
hits,
playing?
I had a few runs.
Man, y'all turn it up
The
out
Reverend
there.
look good.
Man, that
Hey,
working
Jill,
out.
you know what they kept telling
That
me?
working out's paying off. Ain't
They
it?
said, Scudo, they kept saying, that's coming to you. They put me in the outfit. You know, when you get put in the outfield, you got less effort.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I was just standing there, then the ball got hit out there.
Oh, somebody hit it out there.
Oh man, they burnt Nick.
Away from me too. I was like, ooh.
Oh, they burnt Nick. Hey, it was one of them that all eyes was gonna be on you while
they
you run to go
placed it.
get it.
I got
They
him out.
placed that
though. I got
perfect.
him out.
Oh, you got him out?
Barely, luckily.
Nick threw
Hold on,
I
you didn't
just
sound
threw-
too confident in the way you said that.
I just threw the ball in.
because
and they
it
got
wasn't
him
like
out.
that, Jew.
Drew, they got a home run off a little hit, and they just got him out at home.
I told
Oh,
Nick,
really?
I told Nick to scoot over.
Because he didn't run.
He didn't want to move, so dude hit it over at the right field, and then all eyes was on Nick getting this ball.
Well, I was already like, man, you know, you put somebody in right field, it's like, yeah, the ball probably ain't coming.
Did he not want to run or something? I mean, did he
He just took off. The way he hit it, I had to run for it.
he had to be slow there.
It was an
fast.
older gentleman.
I was
I
fast.
was going to say,
It
it had
was
to
an
be
older
slow.
gentleman.
I was fast the way I took off for it.
And then he got threw out at home by somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It had to be.
Man, it's so much funner though when you win.
We had a
I'm
good
telling
game
you.
last night.
Oh, y'all won?
Yeah,
Man, we
What
scored
are y'all
30.
like, the Bad News Bears? Like,
man.
They have been the last
It's been a
4 or
rough
5
season,
games.
Jew.
man, it's been a rough season.
It's been a real rough season.
Man, you got to
I've been-
step up and coach it, man.
I've been stressed out. They don't want to come to practice.
Oh, yeah, that's what you
Hey.
got to tell them. Look,
I've been thinking about bitching some people, but then
Hey.
I'm like, only got X amount of players.
Rob's like, he takes it back to Kenny Hicks School of Ball. Hey, Rob's like, we practice.
practice 6 days a week.
Man, he's like, hey, you ain't come to practice, you ain't playing. They like, it's church league.
Jew, but here's the thing. If you get beat, I don't like losing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What should you do?
I mean, you got to practice at least once a week.
Right? But people's like, oh man, we got this. And I understand. Everybody got life going on, right? You got
Yeah.
1,000 things.
But if you committed to one thing, you got to commit to the other. So if you committed to playing baseball,
Man.
and you know that there's practice involved,
What you said.
then you got to show up.
That's what
you
you got to
show up
fight
in
practice.
practice.
Time for it, right?
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
I think that's what it is, man. Is just, I'm not going to say that like necessarily those guys. I'm just saying a lot of guys nowadays are very just uncommitted.
Yeah, you can't play on the team. I'm one of them
what I'm saying?
sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I absolutely admit sometimes I fall short.
Yeah, everybody does fall short, but I'm saying if you lose 3 games in a row, you got to have a practice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to.
I've learned playing with people that ain't never played organized sports.
Oh man, look, Jew, I'm telling you, this year I've heard it from more people.
Than
ever. Man, I can play.
Babe Ruth,
Man, you should let me be on the team. I can play.
Yeah.
Jew, you can see.
Hey, at old age catches up to you.
You know how you hit somebody one ball and you can just kind of see it in their posture that
Oh,
they,
yeah,
they ain't
there ain't
got
no
it.
finesse. It's
You know
just-
what I'm saying?
yeah.
It ain't real athleticism.
It's just like anything else. I can tell if a person can play basketball by the way they dribble a basketball.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I don't even
You can
have to
almost tell by the way that they carry themselves that like I'm not gonna say that like I have seen some surprises get on the court, right?
Oh, that's why I can't base it off that. But once I see a basketball in your
their
hand,
how they're
and I
handling
see how you handle the basketball. I already know.
Yeah.
Already, I mean, like I know.
You can see it.
Yeah, I already know like 100%.
Man.
It reminds me of a time. So I was working at FOS and some clients went to go work for this guy trying to weld for this company. And a couple of the guys was like, yeah, I know how to weld. And this is one of them old school guys that owns his own shop.
Yeah.
You know what he's going to do. All right, let's spark the machine up. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Dog, dude done burnt through the whole plate.
Look, because what is it? So what is it about men who think
Like,
that,
I'm just trying to figure out why you would even say you can do something knowing you're going to be put under the heat.
Man.
Like,
I think that they really, but look, I think a lot of guys truly believe it.
Yeah, I don't know how. Even if you had a little bit of experience, like, I wouldn't be confident enough to put my life on it. You know what I mean? Like to put my word on it, be like, oh yeah, I'm good at welding.
Man,
I'm good at doing this.
we've had at least 6-7 people say, man, I need to be playing.
Look, I can't tell you how many mechanics I've had that said, man, I'm a mechanic.
Right.
ASC certified.
Yeah.
6-month warranty, full motor trend. I've done it all, and I'm just like, all right. And then I hear him over banging, taking a ratchet.
Like, why are you messing with the
banging,
radio?
and banging on the hub. I'm like, that ain't how that comes off.
Hey,
You gotta
look,
like pride or something, not beat on it.
look, you know
I'm just
the
saying.
general aspects of it, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, all I want to do is be consistent as this guy that cuts the grass. He
Man,
is
every
on
Friday.
every Friday at the same exact time.
It's like he does it on purpose.
I mean, I hear the buzzing in my noise.
dog,
in my
look,
ears.
we're doing it late today.
No, it's 10:30.
We're late. We usually start at 9:30.
Man, he's every time that we're here, he's here.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like he's just trying to wait till we start recording, and then he just fires that mower up.
Man, so last weekend we had a long extended weekend, 3-day weekend, Memorial Day. Hey, I did want to mention, we didn't get to mention it last week, man. Thank you for everybody who has ever served, who has ever laid their life down on the line, who's ever committed to serving this country so that we could have freedoms to be able to do things like this, to be able to wake up and just live in a world where we don't have to worry about bombs going off. Missiles
that's
being
different.
fired at us. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I mean, I've been watching over the past couple of weeks, seeing some of the clips of the Israel and Palestine war they have going on, a little mini war, whatever you want to call it. And it's just like you can hear people screaming in the background.
Oh, man.
And then you got some people that are just like, this is normal. Like,
Yeah.
But that's the same thing. Like, when you go to some of these inner cities, these big cities, it's nothing to hear gunshots and bullets ringing off. And it's just like, man, a lot of us, we have it made. We have it made.
Yeah, how do you even get used to that?
I mean, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
'Cause
Like,
some people ain't got a choice. But yeah, shout out to the people who served the country, man. The fallen soldiers, and still shout out to the ones who are still serving.
oh yeah.
They're serving today. People always, and this is what kills me. Like, people are like, oh, you signed up for the army. When you hear people speak negative about it, and I'm thinking in my mind, like, yeah, I get it, it's a job, but they still signed up to put their life on the line.
That's right. They didn't know what was to come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Plus, they don't even. I talked to this guy. He just turned 18 and he was going to the military, and he told me about where he was going to for training and all that. And he told me that he had got a sign-on bonus, but I'm thinking, man, is that it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
they get paid decent.
they do get paid decent, but
I'm saying somewhat compared to
Hey,
someone
Adidas-
who's first starting out.
Adidas is on here. He's been a lifelong.
Oh yeah,
man.
shout out to my boy Adidas and Jaron, man. Air Force vets. Adidas is still in there.
He's a serious.
Yeah, he's a serious Air Force.
Man, he don't play.
Look,
He got all the planes.
he's got
working on all
the
mechanical
craziest thing
planes.
about it is like nothing could have prepared us, or even you would have never even thought that any of us would have went this direction, especially like Adidas and Jaron.
Oh yeah. Like,
I mean,
what
they-
It
happened?
was off the chain.
I know.
Man, they just got
Some of
tired
the most
of
off
it.
the chain people on the planet.
I mean, they just got tired of it one day.
Man, look, but that's
The
what
military
happens,
turned
man.
up-
Like,
they took boys to men, didn't they?
yeah, absolutely. And then now upwards towards, I think Adidas is talking at some point, and like you can make upwards towards 80 plus grand a year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like laid back, like you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna give the full description, but like it's super laid back. You got benefits. You have all these opportunities apart from just serving like you're gonna go to war. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool, man, to see it all unfold.
Yeah, it's neat, man. So we do thank everybody who's ever served this great country of ours. And just like Drew said, man, I think that we take it for granted so many times of being able to just wake up and not have to worry about certain things.
One time I went and tried to sign up.
Did you?
Yeah, I was 18.
I never did.
I was 19.
I
was 19 years old.
That's what my mom told us. If you want to get out of trouble, you go to the military.
This is how I knew, like, something in me, like, that I wasn't, like, necessarily an all bad person. Like, I didn't want to do bad because I knew where my life was going, and I tried to change it. And the recruiter told me, he said, "Nah, man, I can't do nothing for you. You got possession of weed charges."
Man.
That's crazy. Just a possession charge.
Back in the day, they wasn't picky and choosy like that.
Yeah, back in the day, yes, they was. Nowadays, they're not.
No, back in the day, they wasn't they wasn't able to tell you no or yes. They was taking you.
Oh, when the draft and stuff?
Oh, probably then. I'm saying, like, this was 2000, probably like 2008.
When ain't no wars going on and stuff, they get picky. Like,
yeah, like,
yeah.
Yeah, there was like, and they didn't even understand. Like, I was look, Coach Stennett in basketball at Owensboro High School. He trained me up to be a universal soldier. So I had the drive in me.
Yeah.
If they would have let me go to the military, I would have been like, in my mind, I thought I was like, for real, like Sylvester Stallone and what's that movie called where he's in the jungle? Rambo.
Yeah.
I would have thought I was Rambo, but it was in God's providence or God's plan that I had to go through this storm so we could impact,
Have you ever watched?
On a different level.
He's a workout guy. David Goggins.
Oh yeah, he's a savage.
He's savage. He's a Navy SEAL, and what he does is every day he says, find something that you hate to do and go do it.
Man.
So like,
that's different right there.
He went to go train the owner of the Atlanta Hawks. The owner of the Atlanta Hawks had gotten a rut, and he invited David Goggins to live with him for 3 months. He said an alert came across the screen. Everybody stay in your house. There's a blizzard out. It's dangerous. He said David Goggins looked at him and said, "Now we going to run it on a 10-mile."
We going.
Man.
We going.
So we had a long 3-day weekend, man. It felt good. Then we went out to Monday. We went out to Lake Venus.
Absolutely.
Blast.
Yeah,
it was a blast. I'm telling you, man, to be so close.
I ain't get in the water, though.
It was too cold.
I seen Bart get in there.
I ain't with it.
Chloe got in.
Everybody got in besides me and Rob, probably.
Yeah, I can't. My body can't handle it. I can't handle an extreme shock like that.
I had to do the swim of shame at Lake Venus one time.
Which one? What do you mean?
We was out. You know that little floaty thing they got out there at the dock.
Yeah.
We was out there tipping it with the kids, and the dude yelled at me, "Don't tip it again!" And I got mad because he yelled at me, and I tipped it again. All I heard was,
"You're out of here!"
And everybody started looking at me.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
And I had to swim in.
Man, plus, Nick's a funny swimmer, too.
Yeah, I almost died out there one time.
Oh.
I tried to swim from, where the rope starts, where the kids are?
Yeah.
I tried to swim from right there out to the
To the middle thing?
No, not to the middle thing, to where the diving board is.
Yeah.
And, I was in Fridge Center. I had graduated, I think, but, when you build muscle doesn't float like that.
Yeah.
Muscle wants to pull you down.
Yeah.
And also, when you have more muscle, and you're doing things like that you're not used to doing, your body wants to cramp up.
Yeah.
So my arms started to cramp up.
Oh, man.
And I started to sink. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, life just got good. I ain't about to die now. Please don't let me die now,
from a cramp
Lord.
in the leg.
So I was swimming sideways, where you swim sideways and you try to doggy pedal sideways. I made it, but man, look, when I got to that dock, I was hugging it. Thank God.
Man.
It was like, you got to get out of the water. I'm like, look, I need a rest.
Yeah.
You got to give me rest right now. I almost died.
Hey, a couple nights ago, man, I was woke up by 2 cramps in my legs at the same time. I'm telling you, for about 30 minutes that would not go away.
You was on the verge. If you wasn't crying, you was on the verge of crying.
Oh, yeah, I was awoken.
I ain't never had no cramp.
I was awoken by it, man.
Nick, you've never had a cramp?
Uh-uh.
It must be saving them for your later years.
Oh, man.
My dad used to wake up with him like that.
Oh, yeah. It was funny when he woke up, too.
Not even during basketball, through basketball practice.
I ain't never had no cramp like that.
Dog, I've had a cramp where I broke out in both legs.
Simultaneously.
My sides, my back.
Both my legs in the same places locked up on me.
Wow.
In the same exact place. I'm telling you, it almost brought tears to my eyes.
You gotta watch what you drinking and eating.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that.
Man, I think some people are just more prone to it.
Man, I
But
don't
you
know.
got to think if you go from not doing so Nick normally doesn't play softball, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes to playing like a game like he did last night. He's lucky he didn't get him last night. Why when his body was at rest?
Oh,
I
yeah.
slept
Because
good.
what happens, think about this. Okay, think about this. Even what a cramp is. A cramp is your body reacting to something that's abnormal going on, right? Mm-hmm. So your body is thinking, we're still moving. Like these muscles are still in action. But because you normally don't do that, that's why a lot of people.
I got a fact check.
You ain't got to fact check a
Didn't
good
sound right.
story.
Didn't sound right, did it? Jew?
You ain't got to fact check a good story, Jew.
I'm not saying a good story. I just want to know. I mean, it's interesting. I never thought about looking up what a cramp really is.
In my mind, it just worked out perfect. So if Nick don't never work, Nick ain't never gonna get cramps.
It didn't sound
But
right.
if Nick
I
plays,
mean, that makes sense, Rob.
Jew, I
didn't
played
sound
it.
right.
Look, I ain't got a cramp all
It's
season,
about the food you eat and stuff.
except when we played a doubleheader.
It's about not having enough water and dehydration.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm saying that
So
it doesn't have
a
anything.
muscle
you're
cramp is caused
dehydrated.
by overuse of a muscle. Rob's right.
Yep.
Thank you. I knew I was right.
Listen, hold on.
And dehydration.
Yeah, dehydration,
Duh. I knew that.
I knew
muscle
I was
strain,
right.
or simply holding a position for a prolonged period of time.
You gotta stay hydrated.
No, I mean, it can be multiple things.
Jew.
If you hold your arm and you flex it like this for 30 minutes, I promise you're going to have the craziest cramp in your arm you've ever had in your life.
Yeah. Hey, I got one of those when the muscle things.
Yeah.
I used it on Nick last night. Man, he was in love.
Hey, listen, I caught a cramp one time. We was on our way to, we was working for MPW, and we was on our way to Ohio. I got a cramp in the back of the van, a 15-passenger van with 18 people on it. You know they used to pack us in there.
Man,
Literally, I almost kicked the seat up. Why do you get that power?
you didn't have no choice. You might do anything crazy.
You get some kind of power whenever you catch a cramp in your leg.
Yeah.
I don't know where that power manifests from, but you kind of know your strength, because I guess it's because of your adrenaline.
Yeah.
Because man, I'm telling you, I used to get cramps like you said, legs, back, all at once. Where I'm on the ground trying to lay straight, because any way I move, it's gonna fire back up. You know, it goes away.
Oh yeah, you know when you move barely and you're like, ooh, if I move this way, I'm gonna feel it again.
It's gonna come back on.
Oh man, that's a horrible feeling.
I can't believe Nick ain't never had one. Should we pray that Nick has a cramp like that?
No, I stay hydrated.
Okay.
Nick, that ain't
He
got
does
nothing
stay
to do with it.
hydrated.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. Nick drinks Diet Dr. Peppers.
Nah, the only cramps I got really
53.
when I was working out and trying to run a 5K, I would when I knew it was hydration, because I would start to cramp up on the treadmill, and I was on keto, so I wasn't getting all the fruits and stuff,
Yeah.
and my legs would start to cramp up. But I never had like a full blown cramp where you just wake up.
It's gonna happen. I hate to wish that on you, but it's gonna happen.
He's like, you need to
And
experience
Nick's gonna be like, look, I gotta go to the hospital. It's like,
I know.
In your older age, it's coming. I'm
I
surprised
did-
that you didn't after
didn't
playing the
use-
softball game.
I didn't used to believe in like stuff like, like cramps, anxiety, until I had an anxiety attack.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's real.
Hey, Drew, you remember when we was growing up and Nick would always say that he couldn't eat shrimp? I remember at one time he ate something,
it was shrimp.
and he was, where at though?
The funniest story in
I'm
America.
saying,
Look,
yeah, what we talking about today?
we gotta talk about this story, dog. Listen, this is when Yum Yum sauce first came out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I didn't know nothing about Yum Yum sauce, right? Nick was like, man, you don't know nothing about. We're out at this this Chinese restaurant out there.
Raggedy Chinese.
Yeah, on 54. It was right there where Don
Oh,
Moore
yeah,
used
that's
to
right.
be.
They sold
They
everything.
ain't last no time.
They sold
Yeah.
all food.
They
That's how
said,
bad they was.
they said, Nick was like, we're out there eating, and you already knew like the food probably been setting out and all this stuff. But Nick was like, man, you don't know nothing about this Yum Yum. You ain't ever had this Yum Yum.
I kept
And I'm like,
teasing. I was like, "You yum yum."
yeah, he
Yum,
kept saying
yum.
it over and over again. Yum Yum, you ain't never had it. And I was like, it don't even look good to me. Like just looking at it, it doesn't even look good. Well, so he's over eating, and then Nick goes to the bathroom, and I'm thinking in my mind, literally, it's 15 minutes to pass.
I was in there deep.
And I'm like, what is Nick? I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want to
Call him out.
like I thought he was in there pooping for real. And tell me why, I don't know what caught my attention. I looked up and he had his head poking out of the bathroom door. It was like, I need to go to the hospital.
Like that.
Face was
He was like,
red.
I need to go to. He couldn't even talk. He was like, I need to go to the hospital.
Was that the
I was
first time
like-
it happened, Nick?
Yeah, never happened before. I ate shrimp my whole life.
Yeah, we
and
used
I
to
love
eat shrimp all the time.
Shrimp is one of my favorite foods, and I ate it that time, and my throat just shut down.
It didn't shut down. It swelled up. And
I went to the hospital.
he almost looked like your boy Hitch off of with Will Smith when he got stung by that bee.
And
right?
now if I eat it, even like if they cook it close to my food, I can feel it in my face.
So Nick was, Nick, he had a friend, an associate that he didn't really want to be around, be seen in public with, right? So, was you there with us that day?
No, I wasn't there. I just heard about it.
So he has his head out the world on the way home, and he has his head out the window. And I'm teasing Nick. I'm like, look, we'll take you to the hospital.
I was like, no.
And he's like, no. I'm like, Nick, you're about to die. We'll take you to the hospital. He just didn't want to be seen.
Oh, yeah.
He was like,
yeah, and plus, when people take you to the hospital, they stay with you for the duration. It's like,
yeah, he was like, she's going to be rubbing on me and trying to comfort me. But anyway, it was just a whole spiel, man. And I mean, it was probably, it was a top 5 story we got. And let me tell you what. So he was willing to die than rather go to the hospital and be out.
Hey, that place got shut down like 2 weeks later.
Oh, no. They had, when we went in there, they had a D rating.
Man, they had bad ratings. It was horrible. It was horrible.
But because they had the buffet, you just like, oh, we going there.
Oh, yeah. Plus, they just be naming it anything, too. I mean, they just come up with these restaurants.
I think it was called All American
Red
Buffet
Dragon.
or something.
Yeah, it was something.
All American Chinese.
Look, you know what? It can't be good Chinese.
If it's called All American Chinese, you better stay away from it.
And they serve American food, too.
So what's up?
Man, let's so Nick is Nick's preaching
Sunday.
Preaching.
Yep.
What you preaching on?
I'm preaching out of Matthew 5:27-32, the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus says it's not just about adultery, it's about the lust in your eyes.
So it's about the heart.
So he takes it further.
So a good Mcnugget I use is what you have your eyes on today will rule your heart tomorrow. So the things you look at, right, the things that have your attention will eventually wind up having your heart. If you have your eyes on money, your heart will be focused on money. If you have your eyes on women, your heart will go in that direction also.
Yeah, so what do they say about not just your heart, but about the treasure, about how you can find, like if you where your heart will be. What is the scripture?
Your treasure will be also. So the big thing about your heart, and this is what I'm going to hit on Sunday, is far too many people trust their heart, right? So,
oh, yeah.
And what quote I think I use is, butterflies will tell you things that the Bible won't. So Jew's been around FOS a long time, a long enough time for, he's met with these people and they say, well, my heart's telling me. Nick, God knows my heart. And they convince themselves that it's okay.
Yeah.
Like they convinced herself that it's actually everything's going to turn out okay. And the problem is, though, the Bible says the heart is deceitful.
Yeah, wicked.
The Bible says the heart is wicked. And it's like, no, you don't need to trust your heart.
Yeah, I had a client one time, was still married. He was still married. So regardless if they was split up or what, but he was still married, but he tried to convince us that the Lord was telling him to move in with this other girl. And he ain't even been in the program nothing but like 9 months. Yep. And I can't tell you how many of the similar stories that I've heard like that. And it's like, why would the Lord tell you to sin or put you in sin's way?
How's it end up every time?
Oh, failed 9 times out of... Look, put it this way. I can't tell you how many people still come up to me today and say, man, you was right.
Yeah.
Man.
It ain't that I was right. It ain't nothing. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm just telling you what is common sense when it comes to what the Lord... I guess it ain't common sense because it ain't...
Common sense ain't common.
But you would think it would be. But, think about it. Think about how crazy that would be that you're in rehab. You've been on drugs for 30 years. One, you think 9 months is going to fix it.
Man.
2, you think that the Lord is telling you to step out on your wife and move in with another woman. Mm-hmm. And the chances are she's probably married too. Like, what makes you think that the Lord would ordain that? Like, where do you get that from?
I'm gonna tell you. So what I think what happens is we see it with a lot of guys, right? We see it with they get to a point to where almost they got it under control, and they can't see it. But what it is it's a heart condition, right?
Yeah.
So they want to take God and almost make God fit in their box. Like, so if it's good for them, or if it's something that they really want, it works for them.
Absolutely.
So what we talked about, I taught class yesterday at FOS, and one thing we had talked about is one of the biggest failures that men recognize is that the problem is themselves, that they're their worst enemy. You know, so when you go all the way back to creation in the fall, you know, Adam, what he did when God said, "Where are you?" is he found a way to blame shift.
Absolutely.
And he said, "The woman you gave me." And, you know, I think for far too long, like if I look at my life, I was, you know, a blame shifter. It was always the guard's fault. It was always the people that told on me's fault. It was always a girl's fault, my parents' fault, you know, my brother's fault. It was always someone else's fault than my own. And until I said, "Nick, you're the problem, your heart is the problem," because no matter what, I would always find myself in bad situations, whether I was out here, whether I was in jail, whether I was with this girl or that girl, I would always find myself in similar situations.
Yeah.
And the fact is, I was the problem. My heart was the problem. And as soon as people could recognize that, you could actually find freedom in to think, I'm the problem. I need the help.
Something has to happen in a man's life where he no longer is able to point the finger at somebody else.
That's right.
Man,
Right.
it's something magical happens.
Man, it does.
I remember. Look, it's funny
You
because
feel that
we
weight,
all have
that
that.
weight will break you.
We all have that point in time where we're like, okay, I finally realized like it's my fault. I mean, you would hope that everybody gets to that point, but some people never get to that point. I still know people today that's like, oh, if it wasn't for such and such, I wouldn't be in this position now. No, if it wasn't for you and the decisions you've made, you wouldn't be in this position right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's. I mean, I still see it day in and day out. You know, whether recovery or just in the business world, is just like things didn't start changing until I owned up to my mistakes.
Man.
Once I owned up and said, all right, it's my fault. What am I going to do about it? It was like a paradigm shift. Like I finally realized that I was taking notes last night and just thinking about like how I blamed everything on my dad. Right, everything was always my dad's fault. You know,
Even at 20-something years old, 30 years old, people will still use that.
I did. I used it up until I was 25 years. I had already been through jail, got out.
He ain't making no decisions for you.
Yeah, I know, but I blamed him. So my excuse was he didn't teach me how to be a man or show me the way how to be a man.
Right.
So always say, God, it's the parents you gave me. It's the
Yeah,
wife you
that's
gave
how it
me.
was. And I feel so bad because, you know, and I regretted it today. I regret it today, but there was a point in time when I was in certain sceneries around certain people, I was ashamed of living in the projects. And the crazy thing about it is my mom did the best she could do. She did the best she could do with what she had.
Yeah.
I remember Drew would get dropped off up the street.
Man, I would get dropped off up the street because
Yeah.
I was too. I mean, the people that we surrounded ourselves with, I always thought that people would look down on me because of because me and Nick, we always hung out with people who were well off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, we were like chameleons. We blended in with everybody.
Yeah.
So I couldn't expose myself, especially to like girls, because I felt like they would judge me for who I. Because your mom basically paved this road that you're on with her sacrifices.
Yeah, and you're sitting here trying to basically act like you're a complete different person because you feel ashamed.
Oh, I was ashamed.
Right.
I'm just,
So, real quick, do y'all believe that we are natural born blame shifters? Like we just have something in us to where it's just easier and it's better.
yeah,
just
it's
to,
ultimately a sin. I mean, it's rooted in us.
yeah, definitely.
From the fall. Yeah.
So you see a kid, right? You tell ask your kid, who did this? They
Milo.
immediately blame it on the other kid.
Yeah,
Look,
Gracie.
I seen it. Look, so the last softball game we had, I had Lucas play with us, right? And I ain't saying nothing about Lucas because I see myself even in him, and God shows me myself so many times through him and the season that he's in life. He's 18 years old now, so he played softball with us, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he got burned a couple times out in the outfield, but up until that point, I had worked with him. I had hit balls to him before the game. I had just kind of, just tried to help him with some tips on how to not get burned. So I told him, the best thing for you to do as an outfielder when you catch a ball, your first step should always be back.
Yeah.
Well, 2 batters back to back burnt him because his first step was what? Forward, right? So he lost the ball and got burnt. So I said something to him, and immediately he got defensive and acted like I had done something wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think and not to say nothing bad about him, because I still do it. As grown men, as a grown man, I still do this. I want to take the blame, and I want to put it on anything else but me, because when I blame myself and I say that I was at fault and I was at cause, something has to change inside of me.
Yeah.
But if I point at anything else, I don't have to take that accountability.
Yeah, the big issue is I want to feel good about what I've done and my effort,
even if it's wrong.
Yeah, so even if it's wrong, I want to feel good, and if I point the finger at me, then all of a sudden I feel bad and I'm the bad person.
Right.
But it makes me feel good if I have an out and say it's your fault. So even in marriage, it makes a guy feel good if you can say, man, my wife is the problem.
Is the problem, yeah.
She's the problem, or my job's the problem, and the crazy thing is the list goes on and on and on. It's something else is always the problem, and
it's blame shifting.
Yeah, but blame shifting is, I think, you know what? It's the root of, ultimately, it's one of the devil's number one tactics.
Oh, it is. It is.
When you think about it, because ultimately when we're in a season of sin, guess what we do?
Oh, yeah, blame.
We blame shift.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Oh, well,
if this
why are you watching porn? Well, my wife ain't giving me enough attention.
Yeah.
Or why are you gambling? Well, my wife ain't giving me enough attention. Or whatever the excuse is, but everything is just another reason for us to put things off so we continue living the way we want to live apart from what God has called us to do.
I always like what Lecrae has a sermon about a house, and he says, if you see a house with weeds overgrown and you see a house that stuff is falling apart, he says it's never the house's fault.
Man, that's a McNugget right there.
It's the man's fault.
That's a McNugget right there.
And what he says is this house hasn't been cultivated well.
Man.
And what I love about it is he said one man will take that house and say, it's the house is the problem. Yeah. It's a junky house. It's an old house. Another man will beautify that house
and say it's my responsibility.
It's my responsibility to take care of it.
That's what I'm huge on, man, and that's why I appreciate what Lewis taught us, because we seen it as he was growing up. Even though he may not have owned his house, he showed us that you take care of it while you have it.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what it is. And I didn't understand it at the time, because I'm like, why are you putting money into something?
Oh, y'all didn't own that house on 18?
Nah.
I thought y'all owned it.
Because he had that mentality of like, man, we are going to take care of what we have in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be good stewards over what God's given us. And I truly believe that if you are in a season where you're wanting to go to a next season, if you are not being a good steward over what God's given you and taking care of what he's blessed you with excellence, how could you ever expect to go to the next season?
That's right.
Yeah, you got to own up to it.
You know what I'm saying? Just like a new car. It's the new car feeling. I want a new car, but if I had a new car, I would take care of it a lot better.
Yeah, I always tell guys that.
Nah.
That's what I always tell guys. They're always like, well, what's my purpose, Nick? Where's God leading me? Well, just be faithful with what is in front of you right now. Be excellent in what you're doing right now. Just, one thing, even in sports, it's like, okay, if you ain't getting clocked, do the best when they put you in.
That's what I'm saying.
Do the best when you get your shot. Do the best when you get your opportunity.
How do you play when they call you to come in on third down?
And some people wait. They think I'll kick it up once the coach sees me.
Yeah.
Or they didn't give me enough time to prepare.
Yeah, once they give me it's always an excuse, right?
Once I start, I'll show out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see you show out whenever they called you in and they needed you on kickoff.
Exactly.
Or practice.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly and that's it's just all about us being a man and almost having to fight this boy inside of us from birth.
Yeah.
And that boy is sin.
Even still today. We still suffer from the same, we still have those same tendencies.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So all throughout our life as a man, and Devon Franklin does a very good job with explaining this. He said inside of every man is a dog or a king, and you're feeding either one of them. So as a boy, you see us. We like to play with toys. We like to, man. We like to be the center of attention. We like to cause havoc. We love that. We love feeding the dog inside of us. But what has to happen, and this is what we was talking about earlier, is that shift has to take place where we no longer are able to reach or blame outside forces, but for the first time in our life, we had to take a look at the man in the mirror.
And just like this quote, man, and I sent this to y'all the other day, it said, and this is a hard punch in the mouth, it said, men, if your wife is lifeless, uncommitted to the Lord, spiritually unfit and ineffective in her role as a wife, you need to consider not what is wrong with her, but rather what is your role in her being in that state.
That's right.
It doesn't all fall on you, just as it's not Jesus' fault you aren't moving forward spiritually. But you must think long and hard about whether you have truly died to yourself enough to empower your wife to the glory of Jesus.
And that, man, when I read that, I was just like, wow. As a man, like, it's my responsibility for the things that go on in my house.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to pour into my wife. It's my responsibility to hit my knees for my wife. And I think far too often the enemy will use, God, what's wrong with her? Like, if she could just get it together, man, we would be so much more happier. Like,
blame shifting.
If she could just stop complaining, we would just be so much more happier. Why does she always do this?
It comes down to what Rob just says is I want to blame shift so I feel good about me.
So I feel better, and it takes what it does is it takes the work and it takes the responsibility out of your hands.
That's right.
Because if I can say, well, man, it's Juice's fault. He's the one over here doing this.
Yep.
It takes all responsibility away from me.
Yep.
And I can continue on being comfortable like I've been. I don't have
right.
to put in any work.
That's right.
I don't have to.
I can just stay the same.
I can stay the same. So why wouldn't I?
Yep.
Because it's easier.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If you say, look, I'm going to choose to love her in such a way, because what Nick read, man, that's deep, and it almost makes you have no other choice but to take a look at yourself in a situation like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's easier for me to say, man, she's tripping. Like, I don't know what she's going through.
Oh yeah.
But I'm good.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've realized is, if she ain't good, how do you say that you're good? Because she's a part of you.
That's right.
That's like saying that your kid, and I'm not saying, just like Nick said, it's not Christ's fault when we choose to go out here and wild out. Mm-hmm. We have free will. Our kids, they're going to reach a certain age where they have to start making their own decisions. They're probably going to mess up, right? Yeah. But our job is to still continue to show them the right way, to love them through it. That still doesn't make them less of a kid, but at the same time, you almost have to take a look at it as a parent and say, I've taught you better than this. It's almost like saying, I'm trying to explain it.
Well, just being content with, I did my job.
Right. So they're 18. My job's done.
So one thing that I love to tell my wife,
that's a good way to explain it.
When we argue or when we fight is, sometimes we wait for the other person to apologize before we apologize, right? Or sometimes we wait till, they do something before we do something. One thing as men that, hey, I just want to make sure that I do my job.
Yeah.
And, I apologize. And even right or wrong, like there's a quote I love. It says, who cares who wins the argument if you lose the heart, right?
That's right.
So as men, sometimes our pride can get in the way of loving our wives, or our pride can get in the way of, a job situation or a life situation, because we don't want to accept the responsibility and the part that we played in it.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like even, if an argument gets real bad at home, it usually boils down to, no, it was her. Or she'll say, no, it was him. Well, hold on. It takes two to argue, and it took two to get it to that level.
Right.
And as a man, if I would have pulled back, if I would have said, let's pray about this, let's talk about this, I'm sure that we would have had a totally different result.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times the reason why we don't do that is because it makes us take a look at ourselves.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It makes you take a look at yourself and analyze, like, what is in me to where I can't say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or to where I can't just be like, look, let's end this.
And I think that's why sometimes, like, I remember, like, pain is good. Like, I remember when Drew, he went up to the football camp in Chicago, and he just thought he was just going to use his God-given
Rumble, young man, Rumble.
Yeah, he
Oh, I
just
did
thought
for
he
about
was
10
gonna
minutes.
Use his God-given talents to make the team.
The coaches was over like, okay.
He was beast mode. Jude,
Then guess what happened, Rob?
Cramp.
Collapsed.
Man.
Fully collapsed. Full body cramps.
Jude beast moded this dude that played at USC and just ran right through him. But that's where Jude looked in
yeah.
the mirror and said, "I wasn't ready." Like,
But it didn't change me though.
Yeah.
Man.
It took me like getting hit with that same pain, like over
The
and
same
over
rejection.
and over and over. Yeah,
Hey,
over
what
and
it
over
did,
again.
life has showed you throughout your entire life. Think about this. It showed you that you ain't put in the work.
Absolutely.
That you have expected results that you have been unwilling to put the work in for.
Absolutely. That's why I knew that one day I would never be a good father because I never put in the work to be a good
Man,
father.
anything. What about a good husband?
Good. I mean, either or. But I mean,
Jude, people don't like hearing that. Like, I remember when Jude first started saying, like, "Man, I'm a junkie," or "I was a junkie," and people got offended by that.
my own family got offended.
People
by
didn't
that.
like Jude saying that.
Yeah.
My whole family didn't like it. They was like, "You wasn't like it," and I'm. Well, look at the videos.
Right.
There's a video on YouTube that you can see wide open how far I got out. You know, and people heard the story. People know. Like, there's a lot of people that know like how far like I got into addiction.
People don't like it though, do they?
No, man, they don't. They just don't like it. They don't like it because they. I mean, a lot of people it's because they never seen me that way. Though we weren't like the best kids. We still wasn't the kids that you would ever thought that would be strung out on pills and whatever, Xanax, ecstasy, selling drugs, and just doing the wildest stuff. But you know, that's what happens once when you don't own up to the mistakes in your life, it doesn't do anything but get worse.
Well, I think we just live in a culture where people like to be pacified, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember when Jude would say, "I'm a junkie," or "I was a junkie," or "I was a bad father," and like that would rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because we live in a culture that doesn't accept responsibility and they don't want to hear the truth.
That's what it is.
Just like when that guy told Jude, "Hey, you love drugs more than your kids," that was a smack in the face.
Oh yeah. Well, it helped
But
me.
that was a dose of reality.
So when he asked me, he posed a question like, "Did you love your kids while you was out there?" You know what I mean? Like, Rob, did you love your kids when you was out there?
Man, everybody thinks that we did.
I'm saying, did you love your kids when you was out there? Like,
Now, I mean, now on the other side of it, I know that there's no way that was love.
yeah, that wasn't.
But
love.
yeah, but
think about how crazy
when I
that
was in
is.
it, I would
That's a
tell
hard
you.
question, ain't it?
I would tell. Look,
he even trying to sidestep me for a
no,
second.
look, I would tell you
Shifting.
when I'm
In
in it.
heart.
I
In
would
heart
tell
you
you,
did.
right? I would tell you, I'm doing it because I love them.
I know, but what I'm saying is, do you think you loved your kids when
And
you was
there's
out
no
there?
way. How can you say that you love your kids if you're willing to risk your freedom?
That's that's the point that he made to me.
They ran up on you
It was
when he said
profound. Look, I said that
In
I
his
had
own
to-
testimony, he shared his life.
I shared that in my own testimony, and me and Nick had been talking about it because I didn't share it much. But Nick's like, you need to tell people that stuff.
Yeah.
And I told it at this conference we had, and literally, let me tell you what, people were coming up to me afterwards, and they were mad. They were like, how dare you say that? I know I love my kids. My addiction wouldn't allow me. Some about my addiction wouldn't allow me
The
to.
disease took
The
over.
disease took over, and there was no way possible I could have got right. I said, the difference is if somebody had a knife or a gun to your kid's head, and they followed you around, they said, if you use drugs again, I'm gonna blow your kid's head off. I bet you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
I
look,
bet it would change back to it. I
That's
have a
right.
choice, right? So once I said that, I had a few people very angry, but later on, once again, they was like, you was right.
Man,
You
them
know,
people
like,
came up to you when
Hey,
they
yeah.
went through it.
truth's like a lion, right? You just let it out.
You just let it out.
You just let it out and
I ain't
let the
gotta
lion
argue.
do his job. You ain't got to argue truth. It's just like what Victor Dunn tells me. He told me, if you love your kid, you will get healthier. If you love your kid, you will do what you can not to be a diabetic.
If you love your wife, if you
you-
love your husband,
And it came down to a choice. That he said, hey, if you want to live a long life with your wife and kids, you'll start exercising.
absolutely.
You'll start eating better. You'll start doing that. And it's a choice. Like if I just kept eating pizzas and everything else and all this stuff, that's a choice of me not loving my family.
Man.
But also to that, like
It's
if you,
saying I love food more than I love being with them.
that's the same thing with like if you say you love your wife or you love your husband, but you're continuing to step out on them, even if it's even if it's just a communication where you're what do they call it, like where like when you have a relationship, but it's not like
It's not sexual.
sexual. What do they call it?
It's just a.
I was just gonna say
I
non-intimate.
call it cheating.
I call it cheating too.
call it-
But I'm saying you
I
can't.
call it you trying to get cut.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you can't say that you fully love somebody if you're doing that. Because
That's
if you
right.
really love somebody, you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing about it is, I think most people's perception on what real truth is, or what real love is, or what real acceptance is distorted.
It's right. Bizzle got a song that talks about love. It talks about what love is, and it talks about what love ain't.
I remember when Brad Rhodes, man, he punched me in the mouth. He didn't like. We said something, and he was like, "Do you love your wife?" And you know, we're like, "Yeah." Like I'm like, "Man, I love my wife more than anything."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, why wouldn't you be able to take your wife on a date once a week?" And then, you know, immediately, I got kids and we got
Oh yeah,
this.
you got excuses to
Yeah,
put up.
and
Blame
life
shift.
and life and this and that. But it's a blame shift because, like he said, if you love your wife like you say you do, you will pencil in her on your calendar like you do everything
And that's
else.
what I was about to say.
Man.
Like, if you was
And
cheating
vice
on-
versa.
I was-
And I'm not saying it to make anything feel better.
Well, as men,
Because
though,
as
we lead
men,
the
you
way.
should. But at the same time, women, there ain't nothing wrong with you scheduling a night for you to take care of your man.
Yeah, you mean I'll tell you, nothing makes your husband more like a real husband. I'm saying like a real
A
stand-up
man that is being a husband.
That's being a husband. There is nothing like a woman that pursues and desires her husband. I'm telling you, if you pursue and desire your husband and support him and encourage him, he will move mountains for you.
Oh, he will truly
I'm telling
create the
you.
world and pull the moon down.
He will literally die for you.
Oh no,
you know
that's
what I mean?
That's and I think that a lot of times what happens is they're like, I mean, well, he's here, he's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man? If you go, just take an extra inch and man, put some effort into your husband and get to know him. Go before him and set something out that he normally grabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
also too that hits me is like a lot of times, either men or women, we're so selfish that it's like I gotta live. It's time for me to live my life. But think about how selfish that is.
Yeah.
Think about
Oh,
how.
yeah.
I mean, really, in a way, that's almost worse than blame shifting. You know what I mean? It's along the lines because you're not willing to.
Yeah, that's not what marriage is.
Exactly. And you're not willing to address the main issue.
That's what it is. Marriage is literally laying your life down for the complete other person. And I know that may sound bad and it hurts because it takes effort. But your job is to make sure that your spouse feels loved.
And let's make a
And
statement real quick.
you're speaking their love language.
Like, we're not perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
striving
not at all.
to get there and be who we need to be. So, disclaimer, like we're trying our best.
Yeah,
to be who we need
we're
to be
speaking
as
to
husbands,
ourselves.
you know,
And that's
so.
the thing is because, man, a lot of times they get so frustrated because you're like, man, I'm trying to do everything I can. It still ain't working. You know, what's going on with her? But here's another thing is you don't hear too many people speaking to the wives and telling them, look, you need, just like you said, Ju, you need to pursue your husband.
Yeah.
What is the last thing that you've done for your husband to where you know without a shadow of a doubt your husband felt love through what you just did?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And vice versa
Crazy.
for us as husbands, what is the last thing for our wives to where we know without a shadow of a doubt they felt loved? Because that's exactly how it should be. Marriage is not it's not a, well, we get into this routine and we're just doing life. No, you should be actively pursuing and making sure that your spouse feels loved.
That's right.
As a husband, wife, as a wife, you should be actively seeking that at all times your husband feels respected.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. What's that quote I sent you the other day?
Oh, about
A woman that loves her husband, he will grow in love.
she will grow in love
yeah.
loving.
A man that loves his wife, she'll grow in loving, and a woman that respects her husband will grow in
respect.
respectability.
That's right.
And I just think like the big issue I always think though is, I think although a wife should be hey, it ain't always on the man.
Ain't nothing wrong with grown man gifts.
It is on the man to set the tone.
you know, like Jonna said something the other night. She was like, "Hey, we ain't went on a date in a while." And in my mind, we had been on a date though. Like, you know, like we went to Longhorns the other day after church. But it's just life happens, you know. Like we took in our nephew. You know, there ain't that many babysitter options. It's like, hey, life happens. But at the same time, have I put in forth the effort?
Right.
To get a babysitter? Have I sacrificed to take her on a date? Have I laid my life down like Jesus laid his life down for the church? And I just think as men, we have to look in the mirror again and say, not what's wrong with my wife, what's wrong with me.
Yeah, because it's easy to shift the blame. It's easy to say, well, man, you know, I'm doing everything I can, but she still ain't doing it.
Speak life.
If you cultivate, if you cultivate it, what?
Jonna's on her, I ain't had a date in 5 months.
Man, my comments ain't even showing up.
With kids, that's not a date.
What's heaven talking about? Take care.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, man, it is convicting because you hear, like, people like Brad Rose. He said, like, man, I ain't missed a date night in my wife in 15 years.
Man, that's convicting.
Once a week. He said, look, it's on my schedule.
Man gifts.
He said, it's on my schedule. He said, just like you would put a meeting with the president on your schedule.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't miss it. That's how you don't need to miss a date night with your wife.
Man.
And that, man, it changes your perspective of, like, even when they said you had to pay for grace marriage, you know what I thought? I was like, yeah, we ain't going to be going there.
Yeah.
But that's what they said.
Because we don't like doing things that cost us.
Yeah, Heaven, thanks for coming and babysitting tonight. Thank you.
Man.
Jill's doing date night tonight.
We doing date night tonight.
Dang,
Jill,
Jill.
where y'all going on date night tonight?
Okay.
Man, I don't know. We might fly to the moon.
Grown man gifts.
Man, Jill and Heaven do different date nights. They go to Vegas date nights, Miami date night. That's what you can do when you got when you Mr. 1 in 800 when you Mr. 1 in 7 billion.
That's a different life.
Hey, listen.
Yeah,
look,
you got Rolls Royces.
Hey, she was with me shooting in the gym.
Man.
You know, when you got somebody that's with you
I
shooting
know
in the
that's
gym,
right.
you gotta go. You gotta drop the bag. I mean, I was just thinking about this last night.
Where
like,
we going tonight, Jonna?
when look, there's nothing. Like, seriously, when you see the other person, and they was with you when you was down and out,
That's right.
Man.
and they loved you for you when you had nothing else to give.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when you get to that peak, like, you know, you got to take them with you. You got to show appreciation. Don't give it. Get it. Our marriage is not perfect and
Right.
not where it should be. I know,
But it also has to be
It
both
also-
people going in the same direction.
Absolutely.
So you can't get there and then you're 10 steps back, right? Because
Yeah.
you have to
Oh,
walk
it took some years for. I mean, I'm the difference is I was in Friends and Centers for so long, so it took her a while to catch up. And I mean, there's still areas that she knows that she needs to work on, just like there's areas I need to work on.
That's right.
You know, so it's just as long as we're moving in a progressive fashion, that we are progressing towards being the couple that God intended us to be.
As long as that stock is like that, huh?
Yeah, it's just like
continually.
it's just like a stock. It's down and up, down and up, down.
There just
But as
shouldn't
long
be
as you're when you look back and look at the bigger picture, it may retrace a few times, but it's still going up.
That's right.
Upward
That's
progression.
right.
So-
We may not be
Yeah.
where we want to be, but thank God we ain't where we used to be.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was once a time in my life where my kids.
Now. Yesterday, when she spent $70 on some nails,
Oof.
I was.
You
I
got
was,
it?
No, it ain't.
Heaven,
It ain't
don't-
about that.
Dude,
Don't
she
even worry
deserves
about,
it.
get your
Listen,
hair done
listen,
today.
listen.
If you bought her $7
Heaven,
nails,
get your hair
Heaven.
done today.
Nah,
But that's
Heaven,
not
you need to make
listen,
sure that
listen.
your husband
You need
feels
makeup,
loved.
go
That's
buy it
but
today,
listen. What I'm saying is, it's not the fact that the nails are 70. But I shouldn't. I know some people say I'm petty, but
You are.
If you tell me your nails are $60,
Oh yeah,
then they better
that's
be
a lie.
$60.
That's
Hey.
now we got to check the heart
Hey,
because
that's
they
what
ain't
Jonna
60.
did to me, Drew. She
That's
said,
what Amy be doing.
She said, all I need is 50 for the 10 in bed package. By the time it got done, it was 96. I was like, how we going?
This is what we agreed on. It's just like
Hey,
business deals.
I'd be like, Amy, how much was it? You know how it could be like $2.58.
Yeah.
She'd be like, it's $2. I'm like, no, it ain't $2. If it's $2.99, it's
She'd be like, it was
$2.99.
$2.50.
Yeah,
It was $2 and something.
yeah.
Some
You know what I'm saying? Trying to downplay it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Jonna did to me about the tanning bed.
Oh, you was told. That's
She was
what
like,
I'm saying.
Nick, it's just 45, Nick, for the month. 45.
Look at the sign, Nick. They said you can free all year.
She was like, I ain't even got to sign up for the package.
If you put the extra bonus session on there,
45.
you get 5 years for free.
By the time she got done, it was 96. I was like, Jonna, how did it double?
Yeah.
Man.
Because
So-
I felt bad. I was like, oh, yeah, you deserve it. Go get it. Whatever you want. Go get it.
Man, the rubber making it
But
rain.
that's what I'm saying. Like when we think like, so I think too is it's a fine balance because, you know, when you for me I don't know. Like I'm all for spoiling my wife.
Juice cheap.
But if you Rob, I ain't cheap.
Jew, you
Nah,
are.
the
How you gonna
difference-
tell me I'm cheap?
You ain't cheap.
The difference is
How am I cheap, Rob?
the difference is if she would have told him it was 70,
Every year,
that would've been
apart
fine.
from vacations, every single year, I at least spend $10,000 on dates.
Ooh,
Tell me I don't.
I see you.
10,000 or more.
Dang.
Last year was like $15,000 on dates.
dang.
So I mean, like we spent $5,000 in Tampa, just going to Tampa for 3 days.
Wee.
I gotta
No, I'm
step
not
it up.
bragging. I'm not saying. I'm just saying though.
Jonna, don't be listening to this.
Like-
stuff.
Man, Jonathan said keep talking and I'll book a hair and nail appointment.
I'm just
Man.
saying though, like, but it's because of. I mean, I look at it and it's not.
booked a pool appointment
Look,
already.
here's the reason why I do that. It's because everything else in my life is lined up. My bills are paid. I tithe to church. I give. I give. I give.
Yup.
And I mean, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying, like I do many different acts. I'm saying, so why wouldn't I spend that much on my life partner?
Man, that's it.
know.
She
that's
can vouch
right.
for. She'll tell you. Like
I
she
did.
knows.
So
I
you
did.
you are proud of her $70 nails. It don't hurt you.
It hurts because it's not what we agreed on.
It wasn't 60 like you
I
said.
get it.
Because I didn't get to where I'm at either by just letting the flow go. Like
That's right.
I'm a. Okay, it doesn't matter if
You
I
gotta
have
be
$1
a good
million,
steward.
if I have $30 million, if I have $30.
Be
Yeah.
a wise steward.
When I see something, I'm a price checker. I'm a price checker. So whenever I go places, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if I have $1 million in the bank, 100,000, 30 million. I'm still going to check the price on a
Jill,
piece
I
of
get
gum.
it. She said that was a tip.
We didn't talk about tips. You should have got the $50 nails and then gave a $10 tip.
For at the end of it,
That ain't what we agreed
Hey,
on.
Jill, here's what I'm like. First, I paid you to do the nails. Now I paid you a good price.
I paid
to
you.
do the
Now I gotta give you a
Hey,
tip.
that's how,
man.
hey,
So
sometimes,
there's gratuity doing nails.
sometimes I feel like at the barbershop, I'm like, look, I already paid $35.
Hey man,
Look.
I took 3 girls the other day, got their nails done.
Ooh.
See?
You want to
Oh.
talk about being?
How much was
Oh, it was a lot.
Hey, I'm like, I already paid
It was
30,
a lot. And they,
35.
and they all got the little stones too. It was a lot.
Ooh.
Okay, Rob. Imagine taking 4 of your kids into the Harry Potter store.
Oh, I already done it.
Ooh.
No. Oh, so you bought them all cloaks and bought them wands?
No, it was just Hannah. Hannah.
No, I'm talking to all my
They
kids.
all didn't like the Harry
Every
Potter.
single one of them wanted a Harry Potter cloak.
I mean, look.
I'm just saying, but though it's
He said,
I'm not.
She said he price checked my float at the same place I go.
I sure did. She bought a float for she bought
What
a
kind
float
of
for
float?
One of them floats.
What kind of float?
You know the float that
water?
you float in the water.
Hey, what's Drew calling the stores on?
No, and she stepped out, and I was like, let me check his price. Look, here's the difference
How much
between.
was the float?
Oh, it was like $588.
Drew, I thought you get in there for free.
Okay, tell me women don't do this. Tell me women don't do this. Rob, when you go to the store and you spend money, there's 2 things that you know. One is you know exactly how much you spent.
Oh yeah, I got to figure it up in my head.
You know how
Me
much you're
too.
gonna spend, your
Oh, yeah.
limit, and how much you spent on what you bought.
Man.
So before you go into the store, we have a price set of what we're gonna spend before
That's
we
So
right.
you done tallied it up in your head.
before we do anything. We have a
That's
mental
right.
budget,
Like,
right?
I ain't going over that.
I ain't going over this.
I got 6 items. I'm gonna spend about 70.
Exactly.
All right.
So we have this mental note in our head that, hey, look, this is what I'm gonna spend. And when we leave the store, we know exactly what we spent. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be able to tell you to the cent exactly how much I spent.
I hope so.
Why
You
is
just
it
got a
that-
receipt.
No, even if I don't, I'm saying if I'm not looking at the receipt, I'm just saying I'm aware of it.
That's right.
I'm aware.
I got
if my
you.
wife, if I go to the store and I don't have the receipt in my pocket, my wife says how much you spend. I'm gonna say $264.
That's right.
And 13 cents. You gonna tell me you don't know that?
Nah, not
I do.
exactly.
How
I
much
do.
was your truck transmission?
I know.
How much was your truck transmission?
He knows.
Tell me right now.
He knows.
That's a different
No,
story.
no, it
than
ain't.
the
No,
one
it ain't.
I
How
do.
much was your
He
truck
knows.
That's
transmission?
a little different.
No, tell me.
Tell
That's a
you
little
anything.
different.
Look, see what I'm saying?
What I here's
No,
what I
no,
just
no.
tell you
Look,
what I
answer
spent
my
at the-
question real quick.
I can
What
just
was your
tell you
truck
what-
transmission?
That's different than going to get
Just
some
tell me the
groceries.
price.
No, I don't want to. It's sick.
Because he's hurting
Hey,
about
Joe.
it, but he knows that
Here's
price.
how I'm on money. The girl at Dairy Queen this morning said I gave you my discount. I looked at my account. I seen how much the discount was.
That's what I'm talking about.
The meal.
So-
I was like, oh, that was a good discount. $20.
One thing I've done though to start helping me is I've been rounding it up. Like if it's $260, I just be like I spent $300.
Yeah, I mean that's fine for you, but at least you're aware of it.
That's right.
Why is it that 9 times out of 10, when my wife goes and buys something, it doesn't matter what it is? Oh, I don't even know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'm like, I gave you $400 or $300.
What's that mean?
How much did you spend? I don't know. The change is in my purse.
Is it like half the change? You got $200 in
That's
change?
what I'm trying to tell you.
Lifestyles of the rich and the famous.
No, that's
Man,
not
they
lifestyles
living
of the rich and the
different.
famous. No, that's not.
That's different.
Because I'm stressing.
Nick.
No.
Hey,
no.
living
She got a piggy bank full of
Living a
nuts.
So
and
you're
change.
telling me your wife don't do that? When you ask her, how much did you spend? And she's
Hey,
like, I don't
yes,
know.
yeah.
Or
Jonna usually texts me though because she knows I'm on the money that like that.
Hey,
Oh, okay.
Drew, I'm gonna tell you
Usually
this how I do. When we get new like Christmas tree ornaments and stuff, I'd be like, look, how much is it gonna be for everything? I just need one total price. This better be a nice Christmas tree once we get done. I used to be real cheap, so I gave her $100 one time. I said, look, go make it happen. I said, go make it happen.
she
right?
said you are.
Look, I'm telling
Talk
you.
about me being cheap.
I gave her. This was 10 years ago.
No, but I'm saying still, you
This
talking
was
about
our
me
first
being
Christmas tree that we ever done.
Ask about McDonald's.
But what I'm saying is
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
so-
I'm the same way though.
So whenever I give her the money, I'm expecting her to not just get what she said she went for, look, but also
Another
like
thing.
go ahead and keep another 20 to put in your gas tank. You know what I'm saying? It's on
Man.
you to make it.
Oh, so you want that money to stretch?
Man, you better make that money work. I'm like Smokey's Mom on Friday. You better make it
Man.
happen.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Look, you better make it. Look, so think about this. If you give Heaven $400 to go grocery shopping, and because she's conservative, you gonna be mad if she takes 100 of it and gets her hair done?
Say, I'm just looking at.
hey, I'll tell y'all.
Look, Libby and Bub just spent $40 at Walmart on the card.
Man, I'll tell y'all a funny story. Last year,
On your
Jonna, she
card.
kept sending me. I know, I seen that. She kept sending me She kept sending me this Christmas setup. It was for the mantle. Nick, we'll never need another one for 10 years. Man, this thing came in a box. I wanted to
Never
kick it
did
over.
You know?
It was the ugliest. It didn't even look like the pictures. I was like, see, I told you.
It was a Wish.com order.
Yeah, it was. She was like, Nick, it was supposed to be fluffy. It was supposed to be a big set. Man,
Hey.
everything, it looked like a $3 yard sale setup.
Oh man.
I said, don't even put that up. And that's what she was like, oh, no, Nick.
All right, so I'm gonna ask the question again, Jew. So if you give Heaven $400 to go grocery shopping, and because she does such a good job at going to get groceries for the next 2 weeks,
Jew wants that change.
right? No. But then she pockets the 100, and the next day go gets her hair done. So let's say she with $300, she still gets the same amount of groceries that's gonna last because she's gonna prepare the meals.
Ain't no pocketing in my house. That's stealing.
Look, I know, right?
trying to steal
That's
it.
what I said.
Man, nah, you did good. Hey,
Stealing.
because then you just took me from 400 to 500.
No, you stealing.
Yeah, I think so. So, as long as we communicate it, listen. As long
I'm
as
gonna be proud of you.
As long as we communicate it and it's in the timeline of the budget,
You can't be blindly just keep it.
yeah, you can't just be blindly spending money like that. I'll be like, so how much money is in your purse that you got left over? She'll be like, I don't know, count it. I'm like, no, I need to know. Like, you need to tell
You
me
should know. You should feel
how
it.
much money you spent.
You should feel the negative 250 that you just
so
spent.
there's two things that goes along with that. And one thing's a good thing, though. But the other thing is like a curse. It's a bad thing. Is I'm grateful we're in a position to where money is not an issue. And we don't we're not so tripping on it. I'm not tripping on it to where I'm just like, I'm stressed. I mean, I get stressed out.
We need that 140. Heaven?
No, for sure. Look,
Right.
when she does makeup,
Jews on it. How
she
much?
makes $300-$400 in a day.
Did she give it to you?
I'll be looking at her like I'll be looking at her. Look, when
like,
she walk in the
girl,
door,
do that makeup.
when she walk in the door, I'll be looking at her like Kevin Samuels when somebody asks a stupid question. When she walks in.
Does she give it to you?
Oh, absolutely. She
Does
does.
she?
She pays bills.
I
That's
remember,
what she does.
I remember Jew was like one time. I remember.
But
he was
used
on
to, she would keep it.
How much did you charge?
Look, if you make your own money, you should never ask me to get your hair
No,
done.
listen. She used to. This was years ago, but so she would spend our money and then keep her money. And I said, no, look.
Man, you was getting pimped.
No. I mean, Rob, it wasn't like she wasn't spending it on, like she was spending on gas in her car.
Groceries or
Or yeah, she might buy the kids something. It's not like she was just like tricking, just buying random stuff like Starbucks every day. No, she was spending on stuff that we needed, which like my wife knows 100%. We laugh about it. We're both open about it. Like my wife she loves to spend money. Like she thinks I used to joke with her and call her Kim Kardashian. She think like we live like the Kardashians.
My wife too.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just how. But so I'm grateful that we are in a position to where like we can laugh about it, and we're like that we're in a position to where we're not hurting for money. You know what I mean? Like I'm great. Like I appreciate what the Lord has given me, but also in that
the Lord has
we have
blessed.
to be a good steward of what the Lord has blessed us with.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, when I go to the store, I'm counting it down to a cent. Yes, if I see a pack of gum and it's $2.88, and I'm like, that's a little high, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna go to the meat and breath stinking and everything.
Yeah, see, I'd
rather buy the 35-cent experiment gum.
See, to me, that's almost like, you know how people drive all the way across town to save 10 cents on a gallon of gas? That don't add up to me. You know what I'm saying? So
It adds up to me.
I don't know if I've just
I did yesterday.
if I just went through a transition to where like just some things I don't even. If you want the gum, get the gum. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna kill us.
Well, because the only reason why I changed my mindset on that is because Nick turned me on something about Eric Thomas and how they were talking about like we're embedding like we're not broke. Stop saying we're broke.
That's what I'm saying. So
We're
if
not
you,
cheap. Stop saying we're cheap.
So if you think about this. Think about what it did when all we knew was Dr. Thunder and Mountain Holler.
Listen,
Like we thought that was, and I'm not saying that that's bad or that's not normal,
Yeah,
right?
Don't bring it to mind.
But what I'm
Drink it
saying
stuff.
is like, man, if Mountain Dew cost 75 cents more for a 12 pack than Mountain Holler, and I'm sure it's a little bit more. Don't get it. It may be $1.50, $2 more. But man, come on, is that $2?
I used to prefer the cheap stuff over the.
That's
now.
because
Over the real
that's
stuff.
what we
You
was
drink
used
it
to.
now, it hurts your throat.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
Nah,
we was
look,
used
have you ever
to.
had the cream sodas, the cheap cream sodas?
It don't go down
They
right.
hit different.
Hey, if you get a fake Coke Zero, it don't even go down right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh
man.
yeah, that's
Like-
different though. You can't do.
Like how is
It'll
it?
burn a hole in your throat.
I'm telling you, it does something. It does something to the kids when they go in there and they see all the name brand cereal. I mean, I'm not saying that it makes that big
Nah,
of a
baby,
difference.
we got to get Count Dracula.
You know what I'm saying? Look, yeah.
Chocolate Count Dracula.
That's why Lewis put all the cereal in the clear
Oh,
container,
he put it in- he
so we
fooled
would
y'all.
see it, but we wouldn't know the name of it.
That's one thing my dad did. He never bought the cheap cereal. He never.
Because he was in there eating it.
No, he bought it for us, but
knew.
But
It's
you
a
knew
difference.
if you
You know
you
how you
better.
went over somebody else's house and you seen all the name brand cereal sitting up there, and they had like 8 different varieties.
No, there wasn't many people. I didn't hang around people like that. I
Man.
mean, the people that we hung around with, we didn't get to eat. We didn't get to go to. Okay, one time we was in Bowling Green, and we went to this doctor's house through my cousins. They were best friends with this kid that had got caught breaking
Yeah.
into this doctor's house.
Yeah.
So this kid got caught breaking into this doctor's house. The doctor ended up adopting him.
Wow.
Oh, it's crazy. So what they would do is he would come back and they would let him pick up 10 kids in the neighborhood.
Wow.
And we would go and swim and look, they had a movie theater. Listen, this was probably the first mansion I've ever been in.
Where was this at?
This is in Bowling Green. The first mansion I've
okay.
ever been in. Look, when we went in their kitchen and opened up their pantry was the size of my bedroom.
They had a real pantry.
Look, you know how when you hear like in some of the cartoons, when you open up the box and it's like, "Whoa!" That's how. She was like, "Go in the pantry, get whatever you want, get whatever snacks y'all want." Man, I opened up that door and it was like the light just shined on. It was like, "Whoa!" And I seen literally they had boxes of cereal, they had Pop-Tarts, they had snacks, like in order, like you was at Walmart. You know how it's just like all around and all
It's
in order.
crazy though how your
Chips.
definition of like I remember going to a friend's house when I was a kid, and they had a fridge in the garage, and he had all his Gatorade
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
the Pops.
And I was like,
That's-
Brandon
So do you
Greenwell,
believe-
Greenwell, Kevin, them.
Yeah.
Do you
Look,
believe
they had all that.
you
Look,
knew who it
we'll be over
was.
playing
So do you
basketball.
believe that makes a kid feel different?
Absolutely.
Right.
It does matter.
Let them
It
go to your
does
house
matter.
and then let them be at their house. Look,
Right, you go from drinking
know.
Dr. Pop.
Rob, they used to say, "Hey, the garage is unlocked. Anytime you walk by here, just go ahead and grab,
Yeah,
you know,
just
your
get you whatever you
Gatorade."
want.
Man.
I used to be like, "It's different."
Look,
That's
look,
what I'm saying.
Even whenever I
You
was
feel
a freshman,
good when you
in-
show up to games with Gatorade.
when I was a freshman in high school, Justin Mears' parents used to take us
All
every
the
Friday
time.
in 8th grade. He used to 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade. They used to take us to get something to eat every single Friday
And it
before
didn't
the
have
game.
to be the dollar menu or not.
Look,
Man,
I
that's
remember
what
when they
I'm
told me,
saying.
I was like, and I'm sitting here waiting because, they're paying. I'm like, I'm asking like, what do I need to order? Like, oh, get what you want, get it whatever you want.
What does that mean?
Look, I'm like,
What does that mean? You giving me options?
What?
Hey, but when
It
you
was like, what do you want? Give me the triple Wendy's burger, fries large. No wonder why some of the times I was lethargic in the basketball game. I ate 5,000 calories.
But
before.
think about at a young age our definition of wealth and
Man.
like all I viewed it. I was like, man, you got a fridge in the garage with pops and Gatorades and stuff. And really, like you look at that now, it's nothing. Like
That's
Listen,
nothing.
think about this though. I never remember one time where me, my mom, my dad, and my brother went out somewhere and ate together.
Wow.
hey, think
Not-
about this.
Never in my life.
Wow.
I mean, so don't get me wrong. In a group setting, like when my aunts and uncles would come in town, we might go to Moonlight.
Did we?
Nah. Cause think about this. I was at Ritzy's the other day. My mom called me, said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Hey, I'm at lunch with somebody." She was like, "Where at?" I said, "Ritzy's." She was like, "Dang, it's rich people." I was like, "Ritzy's?" I was like, "Ritzy's?" I was like, "Mom,
Huh?
I was like,
Man,
Mom,
you need to take your
Nick,
mom
did
to
we ever go out to
Ritzy's.
eat?
Y'all need to take her out. to
nah." Because think
eat somewhere
about this.
fancy.
I don't think that. Nick,
I
do you
remember
ever
when
going
Jonna
out to
used.
eat?
I remember Jonna told me. I remember this vividly. Jonna was like, "Hey, let's go to Briar Patch for lunch." I was like, "Heck, nah, people don't do that."
Yeah,
I was
we
like,
can't afford that.
Because for us growing up, it was like you never even considered.
You
going-
can't even afford that.
or like the Miller House. I had never been in the Miller House, and Jonna would be like, "Nick, it's not that much. Like it's literally." And you go there and the meal's like $13, $14. It's like, why didn't we ever come here?
Listen, this is the first time, and again, I'm not bragging about anything.
No, we never went out. We only went out. My mom worked for a rich person, and because she worked for them, we got to go when they went.
That's what I'm saying. Like we never, like
We went to Red
we
Lobster, I
never got
remember
to
that.
say, like we never got to go like where it was like, all right, kids.
You remember your
we're gonna
dad
get
taking
dressed,
you out to
where
eat.
me, my mom, my
No,
dad,
we
my
never- we
brother
never went.
alone went out somewhere and ate at a restaurant.
Man.
Never in my. Think about that.
Wow.
Rob, I don't think we ever went either.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't remember ever sitting down at.
Do you ever remember sitting down with you,
We ain't
Gina,
go to
Star,
we ain't go to Mexican, nothing.
what I'm
Lewis,
saying.
and Gina? You ever remember that?
I don't even remember.
why
I
we-
remember our Pepall took us.
to the banquet table.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying just
Nah, but
just
I don't
y'all.
remember
That's
us
it.
as a
Nobody
family.
else.
No, we
Nah.
never go.
That's what I'm saying. When you're exposed, like for example,
My daughter lives different. Hey, the other day, you know what she told me? A random day. Let's go Roadhouse tonight.
look, let's go roll that. Look, she's telling you.
Yeah.
But here, I know some people think
Hey,
it's
we
crazy.
went- we went,
but
though.
look, I'm with it. Look,
What it cost,
I'm all about
$20?
it.
It was like 30.
You gonna spend that anyway?
Because it was me, her, and her friend.
Man,
and,
I spent $150
the
the other
kid.
day at
It was
Wow.
like 30.
man, I tell you what, Shoguns is high.
Yeah, it's real high. It's
When that
real
ticket
high.
came out, I was like, something ain't right.
Look, you was already doing the math.
No,
Jew was
that-
ready
I was
to
like,
spend.
something ain't right.
Jew was ready to spend 98.
Hey, they don't
No
play.
more.
No, they get you because it's the lunch menu and it's the regular day.
Hey, but you know what? I was like, why are you tripping though?
Jonna said, this is true. She said Ponderosa or Chi-Chi's is where we got to go.
Yeah, see, I don't
I'm
remember.
saying, like, I don't.
Hey, I remember when
even then, like,
Me and Jew had the plug at Ponderosa. It was
Dog.
Rod Drake's. Who was that? It was our cousin or
was
something.
it Tiana?
Yeah, and she used
She
to
let
let
us
us
come
get
and
in
eat.
for like
Oh man,
$2.50.
she let us come in. We would eat so much. We'd be on the verge
We
of
would
dying.
ride the city bus out there.
Ride the city bus to go to Ponder. And I think that's probably the main reason. Like I remember, like I remember like not being able to do that. So like it's a big deal.
It was something that your heart longed for.
It's
It
a
was
big
something
deal
that
for
you
us to be
wanted
able
go to.
Yeah, we can go home and cook. We sit down and eat together. Not as much now as we used to. But we rather go out to eat and sit down and eat and just let the kids
Because you
do
never
that.
experienced that.
We never experienced it, so
That
yeah.
is crazy. I don't never remember going out.
Think
there
about
either.
that. Like it's the most craziest thing ever. That like
Hey, so ask call y'all's moms and just say, hey, so why didn't we? Why wasn't that a normal thing for us to do that?
look, my mom will answer the phone right now.
I couldn't believe.
Let's call my mom.
Hey, real quick before
when
he calls phone.
When they said when I was at Ritzy's and my mom said that's $1.
Hey, so man, speaking of restaurants, yesterday it's gonna be a tough couple months for me.
Chick-fil-A shut down.
Chick-fil-A shut down. I'm telling
2
you,
months.
if we had to plug on like a temporary Chick-fil-A where we could just serve like nuggets and fries like they used to in the old mall, millionaires.
How come?
Yeah,
They're shutting it down. You know you got money when you can just shut down for 2 months. You ain't even tripping.
absolutely.
And think about that.
They wrote me a note yesterday on my card. That's how
Chick-fil-A
good of a customer I
is
am.
probably one of the nicest restaurants in Owensboro, fast food. And they still shut down to upgrade it more.
Man,
You look at them and
What
you
are they
look
doing
at,
to upgrade it?
man, they're like school. They
I'm like, what y'all doing?
how
It
more
already,
efficient you get?
I'm like, it already looks good in this thing. Like,
They're so efficient. They had you
Pandemic
pay even
hit
before
slowly.
you even get through the
oh
line.
yeah,
now.
oh yeah. Hey, it's next level.
They're speaking jail language.
Oh yeah,
They was throwing up signs and all this stuff.
they knew what to do. They was in
I was
position.
like, what the heck is going on?
Hey, what's so crazy
the
is
rain, too.
look, they're so good. They wrote me a note on my receipt, told me to have a good summer, like I was in school.
they good.
I was sad. I mean, where else am I? That's all I eat.
How in the world can you get a note like that? They have thousands of
Oh,
orders.
they know me.
Man, they good.
They know.
Oh, I'm sure they do know you. They know me.
I pull up every day.
No, I don't pull up every day.
Yeah, I pull up every day.
You're on you don't try to. You be trying
The
to put it off
woman-
on me. You're
Hey.
on a different. You're in a different tax bracket.
They good.
Look, the woman was like, I see you still ain't got your truck back. I was like, dang, I don't.
That's bad, Rob.
Man,
That's real bad.
that's all I eat.
Every day. I'll be like, Rob, you want breakfast?
Let's call Fong Lee.
Rob, you want something?
I mean, what's the question to ask her? I don't want to embarrass her,
Nah,
but
don't call her.
Just say, well, hey, why
Nah,
didn't
because
we?
it's going to make her feel bad. Like, dang.
no, my mom's straightforward.
Well, just ask her. Say,
She
I
gonna be
don't
like,
remember.
we didn't have the money.
Yeah, boy.
I used to ask Lewis for $2, and he'd be like, cut the grass.
Man, this dude said we used to go to Pizza Hut. Man, I used to long to go to Pizza Hut.
Man, we didn't ever get those
After the
privileges.
games.
That's why me and Juice started running. We started eating and running.
Yeah. I quit doing it after I got slapped by that Mexican. She'll call me back. He slapped my kufi off.
We started eating it. Hey, that's when I remember first going to Mexican when we started eating and running.
Man, we started eating and running. And the crazy thing about it is I didn't even eat anything.
Man.
I paid for my drink.
I remember going to Pizza Hut only with John Brennan.
Yeah, Pizza Hut.
You know, after the game in the movies where they go and celebrate at Pizza Hut and it looks so good. Look,
Hey.
man, that was something that we never got.
Well, think about that. We had to walk from the movies.
I remember one time they took the kids. This is when I was young. They took the team to that. I think we won AAU, and I didn't have any money, and I didn't want to say anything because, of course, I didn't. We didn't have any money to do it to go. But I still went with everybody, and I didn't tell anybody. And man, I was eating out of the trash can.
Huh?
Yeah, McDonald's on 60. I remember.
Wow.
I mean, I was so hungry. I mean, how else was I gonna eat, Rob?
No, I'm just saying that's
Everybody-
that's a reality,
That's
man.
crazy.
Like, yeah.
Literally, that's the only time I've ever had to do it, but I did.
Think
I
about-
was so starving. And I mean, like, I think I'm
pride
like
keep-
8 years old.
pride keeps you from
At that
saying
early,
something.
8, 9 years old, I'm a fat kid anyway.
Man.
And I
that's
caught myself
crazy.
eating out of a trash can.
What I think about now, like, we walked home from the movies at like 12, 13. I could never imagine saying to my kid, how you
Find
gonna
a right-
get
find a way-
home?
find a way home.
Find a way home.
Find a way home. You know you ain't gonna be up to no good. You gotta find your way home.
Man, yeah, we gonna find a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
like,
I'm
so
saying.
they not
Like,
worried about us getting kidnapped or nothing like.
so the
Man.
level of stuff that you're exposed with, exposed to.
Man,
Think of
Gatorade
the
in the
movie-
refrigerator
'cause-
changes kids' lives.
Think
does.
about that. The movies is deep from the Rolling Heights,
Oh yeah, it's real deep. There's a whole bunch of in between that you get caught up in.
and we had to step out a few times.
Absolutely.
Man. Good conversation. We've been
was a
going
long one
we've been
today, I
going for
know.
a while. Do you tired?
No.
How far do you have to drive?
Have a great day.
I've drove 6.5 hours up and 7 hours back.
In 2 days?
No, altogether, 7.5 hours up and 7.5 hours back in one day.
Wow, that's like an Alabama trip.
I left
feel bad
out.
for
I
you.
know it was. I left out. I left out at 10. I left out at 10 a.m. Got back at
Man.
3:30 a.m.
Wow, man.
Hey,
See, people don't. But that's the crazy thing about it. We talk about like people don't see or hear about what goes on behind
That's
the
right.
scenes.
That's right. They
What
don't
I
know
have
what
to
it
do
takes.
to stay on top. What I have to do to condition my body, or what to make it happen. This lifestyle that we have. I mean, it is what it is. But I got to do what I got to do. So my wife can continue to spin that bag.
Get them nails.
I'm
this
just
is how
kidding.
bougie Rob's kid is. I told him I was gonna pick up breakfast. He texted me when I was at the gym. Do you like D's Diner?
Who said that?
Lucas. You know that was a hint.
Do you like
Yeah.
these
I was
diners?
like, I'm at Dairy Queen.
Hey,
That's funny.
man. I don't know what I done created.
All right, have a great
All right,
day.
you guys
See
have
y'all
a
next
good week,
week.
man. We'll see y'all next week.
That was a 3-hour podcast.
Peace.